away. An example is Mr. Malema, Julius Malema. Is that an indication that the ANC progressively might actually diminish in its stature and in its size, and possibly there will be some very significant challenges from other parties?
There is a belief that the ANC has grown big, and that in order for our democracy to continue to be vibrant, we need more voices in the opposition. And I think it's a good thing that some of the members from the ANC are breaking away, starting their own parties, and be able to become a viable opposition to the ANC to continue to keep the ANC in check. But I think the ANC, as one of the oldest organizations in the country, they have a very sophisticated process for mobilizing the masses, for being able to communicate with the people on the ground, and have a very effective communication strategy that I don't think some of those other parties have. So that's the one advantage that they have.
Perhaps they need to communicate better how well they're running affairs at the party level and also around the country, right? But we'll call you back here to come and tell us more about that.
I'll be pleased to address that.
Okay, Mr. Mokoena,
thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, Morose Mokoena is the president and CEO of MTH Mokoena Consulting and former member of the ANC Youth League in South Africa. Well, suspected Islamic militants have launched another large-scale attack in Nigeria. Hundreds of people are feared dead in northeastern Nigeria after militants shot and killed residents as they tried to flee a remote town on the border with Cameroon on Monday. The report of the assault only surfaced a short time ago. Well, meanwhile, the United States is preparing to join the hunt for the Nigerian-based Islamic militant group Boko Haram. U.S. President Barack Obama says he has dispatched a team of intelligence and law enforcement experts to Nigeria to help rescue nearly 300 schoolgirls abducted by the Islamic militant group. President Obama says this may be the event that mobilizes the world to do something against the terrorist organization.
Obviously, it's a heartbreaking situation, outrageous situation. You've got one of the worst regional or local terrorist organizations in Boko Haram in Nigeria. They've been killing people ruthlessly for many years now, and we've already been seeking greater cooperation with the Nigerians. This may be the event that helps to mobilize the entire international community to finally do something against this horrendous organization that's perpetrated such a terrible crime.
Well, meanwhile, Nigerian police offered a $300,000 reward on Wednesday to anyone who can give credible information leading to the rescue of the schoolgirls abducted last month from the town of Chibok. Boko Haram leader Abubakar Shekau released a video Monday claiming responsibility for the kidnapping and promising to sell the girls into slavery. Well, the kidnapping crisis has raised the criticism against the administration of Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan to a new level. Citizens of the West African nation and the international community are asking, why is it taking so long to find the nearly 300 girls who just vanished overnight? VOA's Mariama Diallo reports on rallies held in Washington and New York.
Silence says no one.
They marched and brandished signs in front of the Nigerian embassy in Washington calling for action.
Are we willing to take this on?
Nicole Lee, a human rights lawyer, says just because the kidnapping happened in Nigeria doesn't mean people shouldn't care.
Everybody, no matter what our race or our citizenship is, needs to really care and needs to understand that if it can happen there, it can happen here. Human trafficking is a problem all over the planet.
Nigerian Omalala Adele, also the lead organizer of Tuesday's rally, called on her government to do more.
It is your responsibility to keep your citizens safe, and also it is the responsibility of government that everybody can get a fair education and not living fair.
In a video released Monday, Boko Haram leader Abubakar Shekau claimed responsibility for the mid-April abduction of several hundred schoolgirls and threatened to sell them.
Just because I took some little girls in Western education, everybody is making noise. I took the girls and I will sell them off.
The announcement dismayed relatives and generated widespread outrage. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said Tuesday he spoke to Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan and promised help.
Our embassy in Abuja is prepared to form a coordination cell that could provide expertise on intelligence, investigations, and hostage negotiations, and to help facilitate information sharing and victim assistance. And President Goodluck Jonathan was very happy to receive this offer and ready to move on it immediately.
Yet some Nigerians have been critical of the government, saying President Jonathan's administration has not done enough to secure the girls' release. And for Nigerians living abroad, the frustration of feeling helpless is tangible. At a New York rally, there were more calls for action.
What he has to do is to summon the security agencies, his armed forces, the intelligence officers, and go after Boko Haram.
Nigeria just recently became Africa's biggest economy, replacing South Africa. It hoped to highlight the sub-Saharan country's potential investment destination as it prepares to host its first World Economic Forum. But that's definitely being overshadowed by the recent bombings and kidnapping incidents by the militant group Boko Haram. Right now, what's trending is not the World Economic Forum, but the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls. At the Nigerian Embassy in Washington, this is Mariama Diallo, VOA News.
Well, today we are launching a new weekly segment with our journalism partner, Nigeria's Channels TV. Every Wednesday, Channels TV reporter Cynthia Ari will join us on Africa 54 to discuss the hot topics in Nigeria and across the continent. Cynthia, welcome to Africa 54.
I'm pleased to be here, Vincent.
Well,
I'm right here. Thank you for having me.
Great, thank you. Now today, of course, Nigerians and their global community remain deeply concerned over the abducted schoolgirls. Cynthia, give us a sense of where things stand today in Nigeria.
Well, initially, when the abduction occurred, it appeared as though the government was doing more talking or more acting than talking. I can't exactly say that the government didn't do anything when it first started, but it wasn't necessarily communicating it to the public, so it was assumed as though the government wasn't doing anything. But since the protests have begun, the government has been more vocal. There was a media chat that took place on Sunday where the President, Goodluck Jonathan, actually went ahead to dialogue with citizens, answering different questions and assuring them that things were being done. A committee has been inaugurated to address the situation particularly. Now it's become an international issue, and we're having countries join us to help find these over 200 missing girls. We've got the U.S., France, we've got the United Nations basically helping the Nigerian government to address this issue. So even though the World Economic Forum Africa has kicked off in Abuja and it's going on today, it does not overshadow the fact that everyone's still looking out for where these girls are. It is not swept under the carpet. That is still the question that everyone is asking. Where are these girls?
Exactly, and many people have been saying, why has it taken so long for the government of Nigeria either to rescue these girls or at least to come out very openly and ask for help from elsewhere if need be? What did the authorities say?
Well, as you got, that's what I said initially, Vincent. The government was doing more acting than talking. So it appeared as though it wasn't doing anything. But from the start, when the girls were actually abducted, the government was doing something but not communicating it. But now that the protests have gone global, it is now making the progress known to its citizens, making the progress known to the world, and keeping everybody in check, letting everybody know what's being done right now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You every day basically hear the Reuben Abati, the president, comes out and speaks as well. The committee briefs the Nigerian people and those who are interested in finding where these girls are, the progress that has been made so far. For instance, today, $300,000 has been offered to anyone who can volunteer useful information to finding these girls. So all these steps are now being communicated. The government is no longer keeping silent about what it's doing.
Now, there were some reports that actually some of these girls may have been taken to Cameroon or sold off to some form of slavery or married off. Is there any confirmation of some of these reports?
Indeed, those reports